Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our reaction and review for The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episode 10. This is the series finale, guys. We have made it to the end of the road. Mood check. How's everybody doing? Let us know in the comments. How are you feeling coming out of all that?
I'm so sad that this show is over. I mean, I have loved this show since it started. It's filmed in Toronto, which I've always thought was really cool. And it's been such a long journey. I mean, this has been going on for like, what, 8 years now, 9 years?
No.
Such a long time. Like, I feel like this is just, it's been part of my life for so long now that it's really sad to say goodbye.
It's a really weird feeling. And I mean, I've had this with other shows before, and I'm sure I'll have it many, many more times where something that's been a part of your life for so long ends, and then you sort of sit back and you have this feeling of like, okay, what am I supposed to do with my life now? I've lost this thing that was sort of ritualistic to me in terms of
Yeah.
the way that I watched. And it is satisfying in a way to see a lot of the characters go off in the way that they did in this episode. I mean, we obviously have a ton we're going to get to. I mean, one disclaimer, though, I want to throw out here from the start is that we're not going to get too much into this video about what could happen with X, Y, or Z character through the lens of the Testaments. We're going to do a video tomorrow
Mhm.
talking all about the Testaments, everything we know, things to sort of watch out for. So we're going to table that discussion for now and just focus on this episode, the series finale, which I do think they landed the plane on a number of different elements of.
I think they landed the plane fairly well.
Mhm.
There's a couple of things that I was just kind of like everything that happened with Janine that I was really excited about, but it wasn't really explained how this all came together. I
Mhm.
think I'm just meant to feel like Mark did it. And that's why. And I kind of wish there was just a little bit more there. But outside of that, I feel pretty good coming out of this.
Yeah, I feel pretty satisfied that they tied up a lot of loose ends. It's a pretty warm finale for a show that has been at times really sad and bleak and depressing. It almost reminds me in a way for everybody out there who saw the series finale of This Is Us, where both of these shows, obviously very different shows, but both of them had this sort of sentiment where the majority of the plot was taken care of in the episode before the series finale, and then the finale itself was really spent a lot on reflection and nostalgia and sort of where we went and where characters could go. And it's a little bit safe in a way for The Handmaid's Tale to end this way. Like they could have done some bigger swings, taken some bigger risks, really tried to generate like a lot of discussion that is out there. But that's not to say that what they did was bad, because what they did was not bad. Like I was way harder on the episode before this when it comes to their creative choices than I'm going to be here, just because we can walk away from this feeling like a lot of the characters we've come to know and love, like legitimately are going to have a chance to move forward. And that makes my heart happy.
Yes, this was a very safe ending, but it did give us answers on this person, that person, where they could be going. You know, we're going to have Luke still out there fighting the good fight, June out there fighting the good fight. There's something that's really warm about that, and knowing that they're still going to be doing everything they can to
Yeah.
take down the rest of Gilead, and that's great. But I will say that it did feel like the last episode that we were hard on was the actual finale. And with this episode, while there was a lot of that tie up, it feels almost like the last episode could have been 20 minutes longer and added in all those elements and just cut out all the like montages and flashback scenes and scenes of closing in on Elizabeth Moss's face 500 times. It was like 20 minutes of that.
Yeah, it did feel like they could have either condensed 9 and 10 into one, or maybe did something where you just added a little bit more plot elements and a little bit more explanation. And I think
Yeah.
that could have lifted this finale up to yet another level. But
Yeah.
I am happy with where we're ending up on a lot of these characters. We do have
Mhm.
a number of different things to get into here. But before we go forward into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because yes, the Handmaid's Tale is over. We're all sad about that. But don't cancel your Hulu, because Nine Perfect Strangers is streaming right now. There's been a
Yeah.
couple of episodes this season that have aired. We're going to be here through all season of that. If you're not familiar with this show, it stars Nicole Kidman as this guru who claims that she wants to help people, but her methods, let's just say, are a little bit twisted. And there's a great cast for this season. Christine Baranski, Murray
Yeah.
Bartlett,
Yeah.
like just so many people that I very much adore. I really think you guys are going to enjoy that show if you have not checked it out.
And we'll absolutely be back for the
Mhm.
Testaments. We have Dexter Resurrection coming up. And thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. It really does help us here at the channel. We are also covering Murderbot and Criminal Minds over on our Patreon. I'll have a link for you below if you'd like to check those videos out. That's where they are, and is the only place that you can get those reviews. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined.
Thank you guys. We very, very much appreciate that so much.
Okay, I loved that this ended with June writing her story. I
Mhm.
mean, that was the name of this episode, The Handmaid's
Yeah.
Tale. I mean, it felt like maybe we might go into that direction. Some people were thinking that in the comments as well. Maybe June would write it. Maybe Serena would write it, something along those lines. It's better that it's June for me, that she is writing her own memoir of what happened and, the good people that came along in her life, the not so good people, everything that happened, so that this book can get out there to try to inform people of how bad it really is from the handmaid, point of view, because no one really has that point of view. The commanders are the people that have the voice. They're the people that are telling everybody what it's all about across the world. But someone who is a handmaid doesn't have a voice. So to have that voice and be writing a book about it where everyone can know, 10 out of 10. I loved that.
Yeah. Elizabeth, Bruce, you guys killed it on the final couple of minutes
Oh,
here. Like
yes.
there was a lot of cooking going on here. You served up a very, very satisfying plate when it comes to June has this opportunity to pay it forward, to actually
Yeah.
change the lives of people who are handmaids, are still struggling, and be an inspiration. Like we've talked about this
Mhm.
over the past few reviews, previews, and other stuff we've done at the channel. This idea of, okay, June has fought the good fight and she will continue to do that, but it's what's the best means for her to do that, because she's one woman. Her greatest
Mhm.
asset is her voice. It is her ability to touch people with everything that she has suffered and she has endured.
Mhm.
Like that's going to inspire other people to rise up. There's only so much action one person can directly do, but when you can get into the minds, because this is how a lot of this Gilead nonsense started, with all these minds being distorted and everybody unfortunately being in this position where they were stuck just moving through it. In June can be this voice that echoes through all these walls and houses and hopefully actually does get to people in a spot where they can need it. Like that is inspirational, and that is a different element of how to fight than what the show has presented so far.
Yeah, I think her writing this book will just reach so many more people, even
Yeah.
other countries that we saw diplomats coming to New Bethlehem being like, maybe we'll do this. Having it from her perspective and the things that happened to her and
Yeah.
the things that are happening to all the handmaids and being able to tell that story. I loved it. It was such a good choice. Having her back at the Waterford's house in the
Yeah.
room where it all kind of began for her. I mean, oh my God, it was so well done.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was so good.
I just really appreciated that. I appreciated the full circle nature of that. And I think that is what the finale did the best job at, was bringing things full circle, including like, there's one surprise obviously in this finale that I think probably legitimately made some people fall out of their chairs.
I was so happy to see Emily back. I mean, for some reason, her photo was up on the Hulu press site. So this was something that I had seen online earlier. People were like sharing this photo, and I was just like, what is this? Because I hadn't seen it. I was like, is this really happening? Did somebody AI this? Is this a joke? Like, is this really happening? And it was really happening.
I am shocked that, well, number one, I'm shocked that this was allowed to get out before the finale aired, for starters, just because it's such
Yes.
a big surprise. But just the idea of her coming back in general, I was legitimately floored, just because I never thought we would see Alexis on this show
Yeah.
again. I thought she had just moved on. Doing this show was really, really difficult. Like she's never spoken that much at length about
Mhm.
why she left, but it's just, I'm glad that she was able to come back. The story explained a little bit of what she was up to. Like, I know a lot of people have been wondering about Esther and what
Yep.
happened with her. McKenna Grace is very, very busy. She's a real rising star. But I will just say, I think that she's probably that character is okay as well. Everybody else gets a happy ending, so I'm assuming that's going to be the case here. But it was very, very nice that Alexis decided to come back and do that and just kind of assemble a lot of these people we had become so attached to in the earlier years.
It was nice to see her sort of having that walk with June and just talking through things. And we got to see the flag with the 3 stars on it now,
Oh,
which was so cool. It was, it just warmed my heart. It was really nice to see them back together. We got to see all these reunions as well, where, everybody was coming in from Alaska. Now Boston is back to being Boston. Everybody can come back and live their lives again. Seeing Holly come back and, her daughter. It was really well done.
yeah, just make sure you had all these characters because I'm sure Elizabeth, Bruce, Eric, everybody on the show, they probably had these conversations that were like, if I'm outside at home, just sort of like a regular Handmaid's Tale viewer, like, what are the things that I absolutely want to see in this finale? It's like, okay, I want to see June at least, obviously the dream would have been to have June and Hannah reunited, but at the very
Right.
least, we have June and Nicole reunited. We have
Yes.
June continuing to fight. We have all these different sort of cameos. Okay, I will briefly put on a hard hat slash beef hat just because the what if scenario here presented to the music of Landslide, which, by the way, I love Landslide. Great song, most obvious song choice of all time for this scene. But I would have rather not had the Handmaid's Tale multiverse. I'm just sitting here and thinking, can we save this for Marvel? Can we save this for whatever FF7 is doing with their remake trilogies? Like, can we save multiverses for other things? Like, I would have rather had a group reunion of these characters where I was actually all seeing them in the present day. Like, the idea of it, yeah, is really satisfying, but it would have been more satisfying actually seeing them together in the real world.
The idea was just weird to me, seeing them all together singing and like they would all be friends in this alternate universe. But when I really thought about it, I was kind of like, well, they wouldn't be, because if you've got Boston before, they would have never met.
Yeah.
You got them Boston after, when it's Gilead, they have met, and they're not going to be karaokeing in a bar. They've all been through it together at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe way in the future, possibly, but that's not what this was. Janine has both of her eyes. So this
Yeah.
is just this, what if there was this third Boston where we were all buddies? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand why I'm seeing this. It doesn't fit in with the story that you're telling, because this would never happen. They would have never met and they wouldn't have been friends.
No.
And that breaks my heart. I don't want them to go through what they went through,
No.
but they wouldn't have ended up meeting up and being friends.
I think there's just a couple of things where it's okay to let us use our imaginations for stuff like that. That is
Yeah.
sort of this idea of, okay, we know what June is going to continue to do, and I don't think she's going to stop fighting, but at the same time, I like to imagine that at some point along her journey, she is going to get together with Moira and Janine and Emily, and like they will have chances to sort of talk and reminisce and be friends. And it's like, that idea is satisfying enough. So it's just, I didn't need that scene. I think the show bit off maybe a little bit more than they had to.
Okay, let's talk about Serena, because while there were some of you out there that was hoping that Serena would have a decent or happy ending, you guys got what you wanted.
Mhm.
She ends up being put on this bus and, sent to a place to be able to sort of be sheltered for a little while until she can figure out what to do. She can't get a passport. Nobody wants her, obviously. And she's got to figure things out. And she gets forgiveness from June, which I kind of thought was going to be coming, and it did. And Serena feels relieved, and everything is great for Serena in that way. However, I still wanted to see her die, and I was waiting for that to come. I was like, oh, she's getting on the bus. Is this bus going to explode? Oh, now she's at this shelter, and there's like a window behind her. Is somebody going to jump out the window and stab her? Like, when is it coming? When is it coming? And it just never came.
I thought she was gonna die. Like I even throughout this episode, I was just waiting for that moment to happen because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even though June forgave Serena, that doesn't mean that viewers of this show have to forgive Serena because, one, she's a fictional character, but two, we've been here through this entire experience. We remember everything that Serena did. It's okay to still strongly dislike her. And I was just feeling like, okay, entering this finale, I need to see one of two things. I need to see either Serena get killed or Serena be in some situation where, I don't know, she's imprisoned, or even if you wanted to go this route where you're sort of saying, okay, we don't necessarily want to redeem Serena, but we want to show Serena that there can be other ways for her to live her life. You could have created something where you imprisoned Serena, had her behind bars where maybe she can still see her kid here or there and the kid is allowed to go and visit, and so she'll have some of that, but there's still some more legitimate consequences for some of what she's done. Like, I'm not saying she's even 100% safe now, like anything could happen, but then you are getting into a position where we're just having to use our imaginations and craft up fan fiction for something that may or may not happen.
Yeah, because even though June has forgiven her, that doesn't mean that the population has forgiven her. She is the face of Gilead. She helped create this situation. People know who she is. She is famous for being the person behind Gilead, and she has seen other wives being killed, and it feels like she's not really safe. Other countries know who she is, that they don't even want to give her a passport. So I feel like she wouldn't be safe, and maybe that's her punishment. She's gonna move through life never feeling safe. But I mean, that might not be enough. We had this whole scene of like light coming in the window where she's like, oh, I don't need to be famous and powerful. I can just be a mom. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that is a wonderful, important job. Like,
Yeah,
that feels like something you should have cared about before.
it really is. And that's why I just can never believe Serena, even now, even in the end, where it's just sort of, there's just such a sanctimonious quality to her that makes it really, really hard to attach yourself to anything that she does, says, believes,
Yep.
whatever. And that is why I do get left a little bit with this finale where you could have taken a little bit more of a creative risk when it comes to Serena, whether it was killing her off, imprisoning her, like doing something that's going to get more of a real reaction out of people where they're either, I really love that, I'm glad she got her quote unquote just desserts, or I hated that, they shouldn't have done that. Just something that really divides people, because this was a comfortable finale in that way, where it's hard to strongly dislike anything that they did just
Yeah.
because they very much took a predictable route in a lot of ways. And like we said, sometimes that can be okay. We're glad a lot of the heroes are all right, but you can
Yeah.
just make a couple of swings.
Yeah, the one thing that I think we can all agree on is we wanted to see Janine reunited with her daughter.
Yes.
That came together, and I was very relieved to see that happen. But I didn't really 100% understand how it was coming about. Like Mark did say, oh, we know kind of what's going on with Janine. We're going to find a way to fix that. Give me a few hours. I'm going to try to figure it out. Okay, June, we're going to be going and meeting up at the border with Gilead. And then they bring out Janine, and they're like, oh, I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, it's happening. We're getting Janine back.
Yeah.
Finally, she's at least going to be somewhat okay. Then all of a sudden, Naomi shows up and just hands over the kid. I was just like, why? Why are you doing that? Why would Gilead allow you to give away a child? Children are the most important thing in Gilead. That's their whole like currency of why they're having handmaids, and that they're the people that have figured out the population problem, and look at all our babies. And they got so upset, of course, when that whole plane of children left. I was really shocked that this would have come around at all. I understand it's in, the middle of the night, and that she snuck away, and
Yeah.
that they're meeting at the border. But just the same, now Naomi is going to have to go back and explain where this kid went. Like, there's just some questions like, Mark, how did you make this happen?
Yeah.
Why would Naomi ever give this child up? It's one thing for Lawrence to be like, hey, can you, read to her and take care of her? You guys go off and, hide and be safe. And another thing for her to drive up who she thinks is her child up to the border and hand her over to Janine. I just didn't understand her motivation.
It's it's a fair thing to wonder about at this point, just because obviously we're all thrilled that Janine and Charlotte are reunited. Like,
Yes.
that's the easy thing, and I'm glad the show made that happen. But I think the thing that I'm a little perplexed on is that there would have been a really easy way to explain this in my mind, where you just could have had, whether it's Mark, whether it's Lydia, one of them explained that they had some sort of negotiation
Yeah.
where they ended up getting back Janine, and in return, they ended up giving somebody back to
Right.
Gilead.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody was held prisoner or something like that. Maybe they didn't decide to do that creatively because it would look like, oh, Janine's going to have some sort of guilt that it cost them having to do something that maybe they didn't want to do in order to bring her back, and they didn't want to saddle her with that.
The easy solution would have been trade her for Serena and just give Serena back to Gilead where they will deal with her for betraying them.
It would have been easier, and it would have explained. Are we clapping for death one last time?
There is no death.
I just feel
Serena
like
gets to go on and live a decent life.
there just needed to be some sort of explanation, because this happens even in organizations like we're seeing that America and Gilead, like, they're obviously not best friends. Like, they're going to continue to go at it. But even in situations like this, like, you do see person for person exchanges happen.
Right.
It's something that's just kind of a natural part of conflict. So I think they could have arranged that in a way that just made it
Yeah.
a little bit more sensible. So it was just like that part of the equation was just sort of out of our heads.
Yeah, I feel like there had to have been something given to Gilead because having Janine be in their possession, they could have used her in another way. They could have made an example of her. They could have done all kinds of different things. So to just give her back for no exchange and no real reason, I just wish there was an explanation. That's all.
Okay, let's have a Mark conversation here, because my man Mark, look at you. Look how proud you are. I just want to like fist bump you. My man. Okay, in this episode, here's everything that Mark did. Organize a plan for America's future, collaborate with June, apparently never sleep ever. I mean,
No.
have a really emotional scene and a great performance from that actor talking about, his ex and his kid and everything that he's fighting for.
Yes.
Orchestrated everything when it comes to Janine. Mark, you even avoided temptation with Serena. There's that weird scene, and that whole time I was like, Mark, don't do it. Don't do it.
Mark.
I'm worried about it. You do not want to do this. I will never root for Serena, even if you are with her. But thankfully, you did not, Mark. I'm so proud of you.
Listen, Mark is gonna go find her later.
No.
I'm
No.
not a Serena and Mark shipper. I feel that Serena, don't marry Serena because you're gonna die. So,
Yeah.
like, I like Mark, and I don't want to see that happen. So I just feel that exchange where he was like, "I'll come, I'll find you, I'll
Yeah.
find you." I was like, "Oh, okay." So they've left it open for hope. So everyone out there that is shipping them, there is hope.
For everyone like me, I am just hoping that Mark finds himself a nice person who loves him for him, who is not a narcissist, and they can have some sort of loving, happy relationship moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of loving and happy, does anyone else out there wish that there were maybe a couple more romantic moments for June and Luke? And I know that I'm a shipper. I'm well aware of this. I'm fully biased, but it's just that I have watched their love story. I've watched everything that they have gone through. I appreciated so much that moment earlier this season where Luke indicated to her that, they weren't just bonded by Hannah. Like, they have all of
Yeah.
this, and I understand that they might be going through some different things moving forward, but they're still on the same page when it comes to an end game. I just wanted maybe a little bit more of a reminder that their romantic relationship was still like really, really intact.
Yeah, because the conversation that you're talking about that they had a couple episodes ago was so good. It was a conversation that needed to happen. Are we just together for Hannah? No, we're not. Hannah's part of it, but she is not the only part of it. We still have each other. Yes, we're different people, but we're going to grow and change together, as happens in marriages that don't have nearly what's going on
Yeah.
here with what happened with June and Luke, right? Like, you change as you grow older and you roll with those punches and you adapt together in your marriages. Here, this felt like a lesser version of the better conversation that happened, where I was left feeling more confused.
Mhm.
The other conversation left me very hopeful. I felt really good for them. I felt like they really found their footing, that they're like, yeah, we are still here. We are still a unit. We are still one.
Yeah.
This one felt like, yeah, we're together, kinda. It's fine. And I'll catch you later. I was just like, oh,
Yeah, it was a little bit ambiguous where it felt like June and Luke's relationship did not really have that much more of a priority over June and Nick, who is dead, who went out in the plane. And I'm just like, Luke loves you, June. Like, can we have a moment or two more? I mean, it's a little bit of a quibble. I am appreciative though of the fact that Luke had a good presence in the finale,
mm-hmm.
and they also used him really well to sort of explain logistically like what's going on here, where Massachusetts is starting to become safe. You pointed out the
Yeah.
flag earlier, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really great visual, and
Yeah.
everything else that they're going to be doing from here on out. Like, I'm glad that they did not just rush it so that, oh, all of Gilead is defeated now and then everybody's free, because it's just like that would be too unrealistic. But I like the idea that they can at least celebrate a win while still realizing that there's a lot of more work to be done.
Yeah, there's lots of work to be done. It's nice to know that June and Luke have not given up on pushing forward to make sure that all of Gilead is broken, and that makes it safe for all the
Mhm.
girls out there, all the women out there. Everybody has their freedom back, and to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and that it's not just them being selfish, where they're just like, okay, we've gotten what we want, now everybody else can just deal. That they're like, no, no, everybody needs to have the same.
Yeah, and okay, if we're just looking at everything now in totality, I feel like a lot of what happened in creating this series finale was that everybody on the show was probably sitting back, tinfoil hats on. I'm guessing their
Mm-hmm.
conversation was like this: we have made everyone suffer for so long
I
with
know.
all of these characters that we're just going to give them the happiest ending that we possibly can for a show like this. And I respect that and I understand that. And there are so many moments where I'm appreciative of that. Do I think that they could have pushed the envelope a little bit more and still been okay with that and still delivered that? Absolutely, I do.
They absolutely needed to cut out all those montages and all those flashbacks, like a little bit of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Sure, I really like that visual at the end of June holding out her hand towards little Hannah, even though Hannah wasn't there, and sort of like the, okay, now it's time for your story.
Yeah.
Like we're still gonna get to you. It's not over, Hannah.
Yeah.
Like, I really loved all that, but I did not need to see her at the carnival, losing her at the carnival, and we're looking at the, carousel and everything that's got like, there was too many flashbacks, there was too many montages. The fact that we got a montage of all the women singing karaoke, and that is not something that would happen on any timeline. I was like, guys, somebody needs to reel this in.
It's true. It's true. I think it's a solid finale. I think it's a very proper way to end this show. We've talked about this so many times. Like, it's impossible to end a show in a way where everybody is going to be happy. Like, if they had ended the show last week, I think it's fair to say if you watched that video, we probably would not have been that happy, but it's sort
But
of
most people would be.
yeah, we were really on an island with this past episode. That's very clear from all of the comments.
Listen, we have to be truthful. If we don't like something and it doesn't work for
Yeah.
us, then it doesn't work for us. We're never going to lie to you guys.
No, we never are. And that's why we're here to say that while there are things about this series finale that could have been done differently or could have been done in more of a risky manner, I think it is easy to walk away from this, though, feeling that, all right, the journey was worth it. And I think most
Yes.
important, not only does June get a happy ending, but she is proactive and now working to give other people a happy ending.
I
And
love that.
that's the thing that's going to resonate the most for me is just those final moments, seeing her in that house, that visually well written, well performed. Like, that's everything I could have wanted from The Handmaid's Tale and then some.
I absolutely agree. Those final moments of her in the Waterford house with the recorder getting ready to tell her
Yeah.
story. Oh my God, it was so good. I'm really gonna miss it.
I know you always want any show that can give you like a final 60 seconds that you can watch on YouTube for 2 years after the fact
I
and
know.
still That's me with the end of Interview with the Vampire season 2, where it is just Louis saying,
Oh,
I am the knight to the camera, and I'm just like, "Rrrr." But okay, that is where we are coming out of this series finale of The Handmaid's Tale. But once again, let us know what you thought, how you're feeling. We've been in this crazy journey together. Thank you guys for being
thank
with
you.
us every step of the way. Like we said earlier, tomorrow we will have a video talking about
Yeah.
the testaments, everything that we know, and also check out our coverage of Nine Perfect Strangers. And if you do want to support us further, join our Patreon. That
Mhm.
link is in the description, and we are covering exclusively there Criminal Minds Evolution, Murderbot. Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.